In this video, I'm building 27 different mechs from $1 to $1,000.
And this isn't everything, there's even more.
The first mech I bought is the titanium mini mech, which you can get for less than $2 if you order it from Bricklink in Denmark, so I'm gonna count it as our $1 mech. It's a fun little build, and I think it's a mini version of this mech from a few years ago, which I really like. You can also do an alternate build with the same pieces from the set if you want to switch it up. It's nice to have multiple options at such a cheap price point. The next mech is only $10, which is also pretty cheap for a LEGO set these days. It has 3 different builds you can choose from. The main build feels like a robot from an 80s or 90s TV show, so I'm sticking with that one for now. But I really like that there are a few different options, so you can pick your favorite. For just $1 extra, you can get this mech, which comes with a minifigure. It has some unique mining tools like a claw for moving things around, and this pulverizer hammer, which can mine rocks and gems. Next up, we have these Star Wars mechs that are $16 each. The Stormtrooper feels the most basic out of all of them, but his design is pretty clean. I might have a few too many of these. Darth Vader's mech is just a supersized Darth Vader with a nice big lightsaber for his weapon. The Boba Fett mech has some fun colors, and he has a jetpack and a blaster for his weapons. He's my favorite out of the 3 Star Wars mechs so far, but a little while after these were released, LEGO came out with this mech, which is also $16, and it's definitely the best one. It looks like a transformed X-Wing, and that makes it my favorite out of all the Star Wars mechs. Up next are some Ninjago mechs that I bought for $20 a piece. These are made so you can swap different parts of the builds to make your own combinations, and there's another mech that works together with them for $30. Even though these mechs don't have bendable elbows or knees, I think they look pretty cool. There are so many different combinations you can try out, and I'm glad I bought the full collection. You get some really cool minifigures between all of the sets, and I don't think they feel overpriced, which is nice to say. Sora's mech is probably my favorite because of the color combination and weapons that she has. The next set is Knuckles' Guardian mech for $35. It comes with Knuckles in his mech, Rouge the Bat with a flyer, and the Master Emerald. Knuckles is pretty exposed in his cockpit, but I don't think it really puts him in any danger because he's got some huge arms with his spiky fists on the end. He might be a little slower than Sonic, but at least he's got some punching power to make up for it. I generally like how this mech looks, even though it seems like someone stole his kneecaps. This set is technically a $20 mech, and it's pretty straightforward, but we can turn it into a $40 mech by buying this set to combine together with it. This mech actually has knees, which is a lot less common than I would expect. He's dual wielding a staff and sword to fight against an ink demon. May's Dragon Jet makes things a lot more exciting when we bring it into the picture. It's a unique ship, and it even has a secondary part that can detach and be used on its own. You can combine the jet with MK's mech, and I think it actually looks pretty good. There are so many play options here, and I love it when LEGO combines multiple builds together from different sets. This set is $45, and it's one of the more unique builds in this video. You get a mech for Kai, and it comes with this huge sword staff thing. Since moving around on foot is too slow, he also comes with a bike that has some giant tires. The wheels are so wide that the bike stands up even if you aren't holding onto it. I might have spent more time than I'm willing to admit driving it around and taking out enemies. Instead of having a mech that rides a bike, for $48, you can get a mech that is a bike with Sora's Transforming Mech Bike Racer. This set is seriously cool, and it's so unique. The stance that it has in its transformed version looks imposing, and it really feels like a futuristic racer. The color scheme pops, and I like that you get a villain side build to go along with it so you can have battles between the two. The next mech is $55, and it kind of reminds me of how Gundam will sometimes take their mechs and squish them down into short chibi versions. This Monkey Kid mech looks like a compressed version of one of the more expensive mechs that we'll be taking a look at in just a minute here. I like that it comes with this buildable cloud to fly on, and it feels a lot bigger to me than it looked like it would be on the box. Monkey Kid is always a little more expensive, but they kill it with their designs, so I'm not complaining. For $70, you can get Kai's Ninja Climber mech, which comes with some of the coolest minifigures of the year. The mech has 4 arms, and it can hang from this hook without falling apart, which is pretty impressive. It can also strike a few decent poses thanks thanks to some of the newer pieces used for the joints. The yellow tusk elephant costs $80 and it has a bit of a mechception thing going on. It comes with this small mech for the elephant minifigure, and you can actually place the entire thing inside the body of the larger elephant. It makes me think of these things from Lord of the Rings, but a futuristic version. The trunk can be used to knock out enemies, and the whole thing is loaded with firepower. This might just be one of my favorite sets of the past couple of years. For $100, I picked up May's Dragon Mech, which comes with a whole mech factory setup. It's got tiny robots for maintenance, and you also get a flyer for MK. You can remove this section of the flyer and attach it to the main mech to give it some shoulder cannons, which makes it look a lot more threatening. This mech has some good articulation, but it doesn't even compare to the next mech in this department. Cole's Dragon Titan mech is also $100, and it became my most anticipated LEGO set of 2024 when I heard it was coming out. Not only is this mech huge, it's also the most posable mech LEGO has ever released. You can pull off some seriously awesome stances because of all the different articulation points. The main weapon is a recolored blade from the Ornithopter, which they turned into a sword. You don't get any side builds or enemies in this set, but I'm totally okay with that because of how fantastic this design is. For $130, you can get this Dreams mech, which is also really big, but it's pretty much just a static statue. You get to pick between 3 different options when you're building it, so that's pretty nice, but I stuck with the version on the front of the box because I think it's the one that looks the best. Some of the minifigures in the set are crazy detailed, and I love all the printed and stickered elements here because it adds a lot of character to the mech. The next set is Optimus Prime for $180. I actually got it for $90 because the box was damaged, and for that much, it was totally worth it. I know this is technically a robot in disguise and not a mech, but I wanted to include him because I think this set is really well designed. You get a couple of cool accessories, and the fact that it transforms just like the kid's toy is really impressive. The Monkey King Warrior mech costs $200 because it's been retired for a little while now. This set really is the complete package. It uses 31 stickers, which is kind of crazy, but the end result is totally worth it. This building that comes with the set makes the mech feel really large, and it has a play feature where the wall can explode if you hit this pipe. You also get a bull clone mech to fight against, and I think it rounds everything out perfectly. This Hulkbuster is just over $200 now since it came out in 2018. It comes with a stand that adds a lot of display value to this set. You get an extra arm that's being assembled that you can swap out for one that matches the other side. LEGO mechs have come a long way since 2018, but I think this one stands the test of time. It's probably one of the best display pieces from this entire lineup, and I feel like LEGO thought it through quite well. If you want to spend way more money, you can get the UCS Hulkbuster for $550. This thing is massive, but it's almost completely static. The arms are basically the only part that can move. It has some lighting features, which is fun, but this whole thing is designed around a single gimmick. If you spend an extra $50, you can buy this buildable Iron Man that fits inside. It's a neat feature, but I don't think it was worth the design sacrifices that they had to make. There are some custom rebuilds out there that look significantly better. LEGO doesn't make a $1,000 mech, so I headed over to Rebrickable and sorted by mechs with the most pieces to find my final build for this video. I came across this model by Demon1408, and I decided to buy the instructions. I ordered over $500 of parts from Bricklink and pulled more than 1,000 pieces from my personal collection. It took me 3 days to put this mech together, and it has some of the most insane features I've ever seen in a mech build. The knee articulation separates and bends just like a detailed Gundam model kit. The final build looks amazing, and it's huge. There are multiple weapon options, and I'm so glad the designer made a display stand so you can hit different poses that wouldn't be possible if the mech was just standing on a table. This is going to be a permanent piece in my collection, and it was totally worth the hassle of gathering all those parts together.